But something weird happened 5 years later. So I'd written these articles, and articles had been written about me, and We Are All African had become kind of synonymous with, you know, my plight as a secular atheist.
Kind of like a martyr of this,
yeah,
this whole humanist movement.
Yeah, and I was touring and writing magazine articles. And then there was a big conference in LA in 2010, and all the superstars were there. I think the only two that weren't there was Dan Dennett and Christopher Hitchens. But all the luminaries were there, Sam Harris and Dawkins, and, you know, all of them, they were all there. And I talked to one of the organizers, and he said, hey, do you want to come out to this thing? Do you want to present your latest research? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm packing my We Are All African shirts and posters as we speak. And the next email was all caps, do not bring any We Are All African merchandise. Okay. Why? Is there an issue? I just don't think there will be room on the merch table for it. Okay. All right. I brought some anyhow because that seemed like such a weird thing to say. I mean, there's no room, just get another table. Like, that just seems so weird. And this was a gentleman whom I worked with very high up in the U.S. secular community. So my family and I show up in LA, and we're walking around, and I meet a very good friend of mine, a very well-known woman in the secular community. And she said, did you hear about the Richard Dawkins Foundation? I said, no, what? They're using your idea. I said, what? Yeah. Yeah, they like the We Are All African thing. I said, I had no idea. What do you mean? What's going on? Oh, you should talk to Richard. You should talk to Richard. Oh, okay, sure. You know. So I meet Richard Dawkins, and I had known him for years. And I said, Richard, what's going on? And he had just received what looked like a kind of a parcel in the mail, and he pulled out a shirt, and the shirt said, "We are all Africans." And the A, yes, yeah. And the A was the red atheist A. Oh. And I said, what's going on, Richard? And he goes, oh, this is our latest merch for the Richard Dawkins Foundation. I said, you know I got fired for that, right? And he goes, no. I said, Richard, it's literally in the magazine you're holding. Look at the cover. You know, We Are All African by yours truly. How did you guys not know about this? And so he was surprised to hear, apparently, that I had gotten fired, even though this was 5 years later. I'm sure it was well known within the secular community, but it's possible he didn't know about it. Right. So I thought, okay, well, I'll touch base with you again after the conference. And he said, do that, reach out, okay. So we got back home, and I called the Richard Dawkins Foundation, which I think was in New York at that time, and left a message, no response. Called back again a few days later, left a message, no response. Disguised my number, called. The CEO or the executive director picks up. This was a woman. Don't know if I can mention her name or not, but it's up to you. I'm sure you can figure out, people can go back in time and figure out who it was. And she said, hello, and I said, hi, it's Dr. Christopher DiCarlo. Oh, you. Hello? What do you want? What do I want? I'm supposed to touch base again with Richard, you know, the whole We're All African thing. You don't own that phrase. I said, no, nobody owns the phrase. That's not what this is about.
The sky is blue.
Yeah. I said, no, we were supposed to talk about the ordeal that I've gone through and how it's damaged my career. She said, I don't know anything about that, and if you have an issue with it, get a lawyer. Click. Bye.